Welcome to CLIC Connect. I'm your host, Craig Sullivan, and today we have a returning guest, and he's a pirate. But before we bring him out, I would like to thank our production partners, Radisson Hotels of the Americas and Chicago Title National Commercial Services Group, California. If you're looking for a new brand, call our friends at Radisson. If you want to get your real estate transactions closed on time, especially a hotel deal, give our friends at Chicago Title National Commercial Services Group a call. They'd both love to hear from you, and let them know that producer Danny and I both sent you over to them. They'd love to hear from you. And with that, I would like to welcome our guest. You know him as Captain Chris. He is a revenue pirate. He is also the head of Canyon Creek Lodging. So let's bring Captain Chris out right now. Chris, welcome back. How are you, pirate?
If I got any better, I wouldn't be able to stand it, Craig. Borrow that line from my dad. One of the great ones.
I love it. I love it. Hey, my friend, for the few people that may not know you, would you tell the audience about yourself and Canyon Creek Lodging, a.k.a. Pirate Revenue?
You got it. I fell rear end backwards in this industry. Out of college as a call center agent for Embassy Suites. I spent 10 years graduating through different ranks and found a niche for myself and just sort of carried that platform through different chains and brands and operators and owners for, that was since 91. And Pirate Revenue grew out of this COVID, this pandemic. Canyon Creek Lodging is a revenue management service provider. We've been doing this since 2008. And I've gathered a great band of other pirates around me, and we literally do whatever it takes for the hotel and the owner and operator for that asset to be successful.
I love it. And you have, you guys have picked up assets, obviously, during the pandemic. You were able to provide great advice to the hotel community at large with all your posts on LinkedIn and various other platforms, including mine the last time you were on.
Right.
Not to toot my own horn, but I did. So what are you seeing nationally or regionally where you guys are helping out various hoteliers and their assets? What's it like out there right now?
Two things before I get going. Thanks for having me on. I didn't even thank you for doing that. You're a big part of our success. Number two, I will make it up to you missing CLIC Connect. I mean, the conference in March, just a lot of things on our plate, but I promise to be the next one.
Nice.
But I know what was coming out of that conference and what's been going, just to say the chatter nationally is just this consumption and this homologation of all these hotels with these brands. I know many with 5, 10, 12, whatever hotels. Your good friend Steve Van partnering, I think, with Ambridge or whoever.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's just the big ones are getting bigger, and people are selling out. What's going on right now, and I'm really wasting a lot of words, but it's just there's just a lot of transaction, a lot of change of hands right now. What does that do for us? Well, it's good for us, and it's also bad for us. For example, we have a client that we lost because they sold off into the Ambridge and Ambridge style. Well, that's okay because they've got a big box. I mean, anybody with massive amounts of hotels has a department of what we do with 5 times what we do, right? It can go a lot deeper than that. But what our sweet spot is, and we've been pitching this for a while, is that 5 to 10 hotel group. But that's a little bit at risk for us right now. But as some of them leave, some of them come back, and even some of the partners that we have right now, we get those calls all the time. Hey, we're looking at these deals and there's all sorts of stuff. One of them's just falling in our laps and this and that. So we are, we're growing through that mechanism, but it doesn't stop us from marketing as well. So we continue to pitch that.
Well, and I think that's right. Your sweet spot also, I think, just for longevity, you're also looking and talking to owners that have 1 or 2 assets that want to grow their empire.
Sure.
You're looking to add 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 more hotels over the course of their careers in some cases. And, I think it's valuable for you to get in there now. You've got the next generation that's taken over the family business, and they see that not only is this a cash business, but it's also a real estate play. So you can help them on both fronts with that, with your expertise and, what you've been doing with other owners, and
Mhm.
help them realize, some of their goals and some of their dreams of what they want to accomplish with their companies. And I find that to be some of the most rewarding experiences in our industry.
Yep.
You know, we're responsible for people's safety. We're responsible for a lot of things. It's that experiential, stay in some cases, and not
Right.
just the road warrior or the trucker coming in. But you know, you took over a property in Nashville. You were
Yeah.
helping them out,
Uh,
and various others around the country. What are you hearing from your ownership groups right now when it comes to possibly refinancing? We had a bump in the interest rate earlier this year. We're going to have at least a couple more. And if you've got a loan coming due, this year or next, you might want to start thinking about that now and getting your refi set up. So, what are you hearing there?
uh, I would love to tell you that I'm in those circles or in that discussion. We're not really. But what I do know, just from the stuff that you're seeing and that you've talked about, there's so many things in that deal structure for any hotel, and that's the hardest thing for a revenue management arm to really get their arms around. And I struggled with that before I, sort of delved in that a little bit. But there's so many. I mean, two hotels side by side have two different deal structures,
Right.
and the strategies sometimes are not just about making the best performance and the best mix. It's about what fits that deal structure. For now, you talk about these hotels that have these, these structures, and they're trying to anticipate what's coming down the pipe. Is it a buy and hold? Is it, do you PIP the hotel? What do you do? And I think right now I think that's as much on the table as it is just being the best steward of that asset. It's about planning. It's about looking downfield a little bit. We're essentially out of this COVID,
Yeah.
and I won't say completely because, and I jumped on Glenn's show the other day and just dropped a couple of comments. Group and business travel. Segments of group, not all group, but just mostly transient group and Smurf stuff's okay. But business group is a little off. Will probably be
Right.
off for a while, and BT will be off. And that mix of what's come back is really redefined us. It's changed us, and we're not going to be the same industry
Right.
next year, 5 years from now. That plays into what you just said. What do we do with that? If we have interest rates that are rising, we have components of that deal structure or what we want to do with that deal. Sometimes that plays into an exit of that asset. You don't know. I mean, it's a commodity, and I hate to say that because we're all about guest service and we're all about this and that, but we really want to get the most juice out of that fruit. I mean, we want to exercise those options, if you will, for those assets as we move forward, and we like to think we can help some of those decisions.
Absolutely. So, without giving away your secret sauce, what are you doing to help improve, the revenue management at these assets? Is the bleisure category a big thing right now with you guys? Are you
Um,
pulling in their family when either the husband or the wife has got a business trip going on at some of your hotels? How are
I'll,
you enhancing the performance?
I'll tell you what I really think, and I'm not going to jeopardize much when I say this because I don't think management companies or certainly brands or chains can do what I'm about to tell you. But we have the luxury of working with multiple owners and operators, and I'm not saying we steal from the other, but those impressions become those best practices. If I have an owner and operator style in Utah, or if I have something in Florida, those people, those entities probably don't walk and talk the same. They look for different metrics. There's a lot of ways to play this game, Craig, and you know that. There's a lot of ways to be successful. There's a lot of ways to be unsuccessful. So I think what we try to do is borrow, is a kind word, some of those things. And even in our technology, someone will ask, "Hey, can you add this to this display? Can you add this to this report?" And if we think, certainly we'll do it for them, but if we think it's something somebody else can use, it becomes a working sort of flowing document and delivery of that technology. And that continues with us every day. So yes, I think if we can do something better and stronger and faster and all that, than one entity, even Ambridge. And I'm sorry I picked on those guys a lot today. I didn't mean to, but some big entire package. I think we deliver and can deliver a much more succinct and also more comfortable environment for those owners and operators.
I think so as well. And again, that smaller owner operator, going from an independent to a select service.
Intimate. I was struggling for the word intimate. So please forgive me I'm like, what word is that? Intimate. Yeah, we're a much more intimate environment. Even though we're big, we're not, we still feel and can work with those environments and give them that service. Yeah.
Absolutely. Sorry. And I think that's the bedrock for all of us. We were all there, and we've all got to, remember that and move forward and help the next people. What are you seeing out on the labor front? Do you have any good stories that some of your properties have achieved with that, or is that still one of the biggest issues out there for you?
I would love to tell you that there's a bus driving around dropping off housekeepers at every hotel. It's just not happening. But I will tell you that seems to have slowed down. And while before they might interview 5 and keep 1, they're interviewing 5 and keeping 2 now. People are, gosh, what is that, Craig? It's this sort of mantra of I'm used to being fed for a couple of years. I'm getting stimulus. I'm getting this and that or whatever. And, I'm not so inclined to provide for myself. And now there's that sense of I got to do something, and we're getting more back on our feet, as humans, as Americans, as people, humans across the country, across the world. It is what we are naturally inclined to do, and that is to be not just help ourselves, but help others. And that's what, honestly, let's be honest about hospitality. That's what this is. That's why we are here. We are here to help others. So yeah, it's getting better. It's getting better.
Good. And the other thing is too, and I know a lot of the public doesn't realize this, but we're also the first ones to help out the community. Okay?
Oh my.
Natural disaster.
Absolutely. Yep.
We're taking in people that have just lost their home.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking in the, first responders that have been on the line fighting a fire for, 5 days straight without any sleep. And now they're getting a break because another crew is there to relieve them. Mm-hmm. And that's just a hallmark with us. And, I don't think we do enough messaging on that. We certainly haven't done enough messaging to get the word out that this can be a career that you can take it as far as you want to take it. And not picking on anybody, but I'm going to. Tom Gachet over at Davidson was a doorman. Now he's president of the company. Chris Green worked food and beverage. Now he's the president and CEO of Chesapeake. You worked, behind the scenes. And, our industry is full of these stories, and you do not have to go to Wall Street to have a career.
Yep.
You can have an exciting, fulfilling, lucrative career in hospitality. And that's the messaging that I try and get out. And I really need our trade organizations to get that out, not only on the national level, but on the local levels as well.
No question. No question.
So, my friend, with all of your hotels, let's talk about brands for a minute.
Okay.
What are you seeing and hearing on PIPs and marketing and help from the brands right now? Pick your poison.
I think everybody has realized. If I could sneak into every franchise development, building or room or whatever with every brand and chain out there, I'm sure they look at it as some just carousel. They know they're going to lose some, but that provides opportunity to gain some. And as we talked about these transitions of these hotels being picked off and sold and bought and everything else, which just seems to be the chaos right now and will be. for, I would say, at least a couple of years. I think what their story is what can we do to manage and mitigate some of these PIP requirements to grow our brand. I think everyone sees this as the opportunity to really shine, as to really take over and grow. I mean, if you're race cars and you're all sitting here side by side, they're all looking at what can we do to leapfrog somebody, right? And the ones that are just, I think the bigs are just still doing a really solid job. IHG, Hilton, Marriott. I see Wyndham doing amazing things right now. Your guy, Tom Bowie, you mentioned a second ago about all these people that have come up the ranks. I've known Tom lightly, I would say, for many years, way before he was at ESA and everything. So, Radisson's a great example, of where those things can grab something, do some light pips and that sort of thing. So, as they look at these opportunities to grow even a management portfolio, you've got franchisors looking at the same type of story where the brands and chains themselves are also looking to make themselves look bigger and stronger and faster. And I think right now, one of the biggest impacts is while COVID's one thing, but we've been in this sort of cloud storm for a while where a lot of technology has started to move there. And it's been going on even through COVID. You'll see much more of that change in technology. Hilton's about to make some big jumps. You've got IHG, which just, cut their left arm off by getting rid of Holodex a couple of years ago. And have just, they've become, now they're very comfortable around this new machine. And trust me, when you swap out a CRS, I've been there way back in the day, man, that's ugly. So it's a scene that just defines people. And that will
you're right. You're right.
So,
And we've got a lot of changes coming. We had a guest, our first show of the year, co-host. It's got a great application to enhance the guest experience, and they were also an exhibitor at CLIC 5. So expecting a lot of great things with them. Let's talk about occupancy and the Great American Road Trip 2.0 this summer.
Sure.
What are you expecting for occupancy and the Great American Road Trip? What are your gut feelings and your indicators telling you right now, Chris?
We have two drivers that we focus on. A lot of our markets right now are impacted by energy. A lot of markets are, I'll just pick one that's, in the Northeast that's dependent or was dependent in energy. And we're on a call a couple of weeks ago. And I mean, simple comment of, I was sitting outside and 10 Halliburton trucks drove by. Well, that sounds really simple, but to see 10 Halliburton trucks out of Houston, Texas, or wherever they were based, that tells you that the bees are swarming, right? So as we have energy problems here, as we have international problems in the Ukraine, we have political unrest here and everywhere else. You would think a lot of that would just cause all this panic and fear, and you would have everybody living in closets. That is just not the case. Some of our destination markets are better than last year. They're not back to some of those levels, certainly occupancy levels that they're at 19. But the beauty of all this, and the beauty even last year, was this average rate being such a big piece. As I said before, group and business transient, when you pull those pieces out, while they're important, their impact to mix might have been to the tune, I don't know what the average was. Star can be a better determinant than us, but I mean, even with our clients, easily $15 to $20. So that much jump allows you not to have to worry about that occupancy. Having the occupancy, having that demand, having the ability to spill, right, allows us to drive and do some things electronically with the hotel to make it more efficient. But until then, we hang on to what we think is successful, back to that deal structure, right? What's healthy for the hotel? We stuff that hotel full of $70 business. That's not as good as not stuffing the hotel and running a $100 business, right? So we flow a lot more to the bottom line. I don't care if they're LED or lights or not. We're still going to use less of the hotel. So
there you go.
Right.
All right, my friend, it's time for the lightning round. You ready?
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Producer Danny's going to put 2 minutes on the clock starting now.
Hey, do I win anything?
Labor.
Labor. Hard
Team.
labor. What?
Team.
Team. There's no I in team.
Amenities.
All that you can get your hands on.
RevPAR.
Are these one-word answers? You didn't tell me the requirements, Greg. What?
One-word answer. RevPAR.
RevPAR. ADR.
Favorite airport.
Love Field.
Tequila or grog?
Tequila.
Favorite hotel or resort?
South Padre Island. Holiday Inn.
Drive or fly?
Drive.
Favorite car?
My TR6, which is mangled up in a garage right now.
Oh. All right. You did that with 1:03 left on the clock, my friend. Congratulations. So here you go.
What did I win? You never told me what I was going to win. Come on, man.
It's all spontaneous.
Nice.
So let's talk about your car, and we'll have
Sure.
producer Danny drop in a couple of pictures.
Okay.
So tell us about this TR6.
Man, so everyone that's watching this thing won't know the conversation Craig and I had right before we started here, but I was rushing back to this office to have this call. I was trying to do this remotely, and I was trying to surprise Craig and everyone. I was going to have my backdrop was going to be me sitting in front of the car at Sure Shot Collision in Garland, Texas. I ran a stoplight on January 12th, and I've had this TR6 since 1998. It's the second one I've owned. The first one I've had, I was around a TR6 when I was 13. It was my first car, and it was a beater, but that's all I really know besides Tahoes and Honda Accords, just your daily drivers. But I've spent so much time around it now and created Facebook groups, and I host a blog called the Governor Blog, and I do it just like I do with hotels, Craig. It's part of me giving back a little bit, but this car, this damage is my. What I was trying to tie was, while that car was damaged and not totaled, by the way, it was mangled, and there was that day of like, oh my God, what do we do now? And then you sit back and go, okay, well, let's make a plan. Let's figure this out. That it's exactly what we were doing in April of 2020. We had this shutdown, and we just said, okay, this is broken, but what's working? What can we do to get out of it? And then you just make a plan to get out of it. Not only will the car be better than it was when it came out of it, it'll be a different color. So we're going to be a better industry coming out of COVID and this lockdown. And my car is going to be better when I get done with this collision at the shop. So I was trying to give everybody a little bit of inspiration of, it's sad when you have these personal calamities like this, but it's not over. It's not the end of things. So there's more important things to worry about than that kind of stuff. Right. So
there you go, my friend. You're right. You're right. And, it's obvious with the success that you've had and the impact you've had during COVID-19. Not everybody had the gumption to get out there and help everybody like you were. I mean, we did come together as an industry better than I've ever seen in the past. But you were out on the front lines the whole time during this, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you, my friend. With that, Chris,
you too, Craig. Yeah,
we're out of time.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's time for that CLIC 5 or whatever. I'll start making more drinks next time.
There we go. There we go.
Hey, did I show you this? I showed you this, right? That's your shirt.
Let's see it. Open it up. Let's see it.
Well, I got to take it out. Hold on. It's got a string, not a thing around it. So I'm talking to Craig last Friday, getting ready for this, and I'm outside a bar, shocking. And so anyway, he wanted a T-shirt from the bar I was at. And it was called
Guitars and Growlers. I love it.
It's a nice little bar in Dallas, and I spend time there after work sometimes. And anyway, so that's going to you as also a eye patch for you and Dania, and anybody else who wants one. Reach out to Craig and those guys, and they'll put you in touch with me. All right. So
you got it, my friend. Now, how can people reach out to you if they want to engage you to help them with their revenue?
Hey, man, we finally got our website up, by the way. So CanyonCreekLodging.com. There'll be contact information in there. I am chris.baggett@CanyonCreek.com, CanyonCreekLodging.com. So reach out to me anytime and just let us know what we can do to help you. We'll be glad to talk to you. No charge. So
Absolutely.
yep.
Thank you, my friend. It was a privilege to have you back on the show. Can't wait to see you and shake hands in person again soon. Stay in touch. Thank you.
Good to see you, Captain. Thank you for your time.
Anytime, Chris. Thank you, our audience, for joining us today. And I'd also like to thank our production partners again, Radisson Hotels of the Americas and Chicago Title National Commercial Services Group. Give them a call. You need a new brand? Give our friends at Radisson a call. Want to close your real estate transactions on time? Call our friends over at Chicago Titles National Commercial Services Group, California. They work across the country, and I think they do a little international work too. So give them a call, and they'll be glad to help you. And until the next episode, remember, be kind, share your knowledge. Now go be amazing.